What is up, everybody? Good morning. Today is Monday, July 19th. Had a great weekend. Got to catch up on a little bit of things. Hope you guys enjoyed yours. I ended up adding some art to my OpenSea from past work that I've done. Kind of exciting and cool to say like I'm adding my my art. Um, but it was a good weekend. Hung out with Justin, talked Twin Flames, talked art, talked the future of NFTs. I think I have a better understanding of where we're going and what's important to people over the next few, months, and I guess over like the next year or two, for what I want to see happen. Um, my Discord is still going off. If you guys haven't already, click below. There's a link to my Discord. It means a lot to join there. I'm still trying to get in touch with people who are looking to jump more into the NFT space, whether that is for content creation, creating NFTs, you're an artist, um, digital creators. Like, if you're interested in jumping to the space, get in touch with me, join the Discord, helping some people find jobs, figure out what their futures look like. I'll be holding a couple spaces today, a morning spaces, and then later this afternoon, talking with some artists that did a project for a token and an exchange as well. Just interesting to hear kind of their artistic thought process. So we'll have that later today. And then last thing before we jump into the news, if you haven't already, it would mean a ton to me if you also shared this video. It's come across to me that Twitter really, really, really does not like you putting links in tweets. It just suppresses the hell out of it, and they do not really show it to anybody. So if you know somebody that doesn't watch this show that should, send them a DM. It would mean the world to me. And with that said, let's jump right into the news and what is going on in NFTs. So if you took the weekend off, you're coming back to probably a very weird Monday where there's a lot of dialogue around ducks. The SupDucks project is completely sold out yesterday, where the last few thousand just went like instantaneously. Deez was having a space and it came up, and they all started talking about how they like the ducks, and basically just became like a narrative everybody bought in. Um, then there started to be a kind of narrative around like pumping and like who's buying and who's aping. In my opinion, I don't believe that there's any real like issue with the ducks. I think people bought in. Deez posted this really funny without comment photo of the owner breakdown for ducks. So like the largest owner, I think here having 409. You can just look through, like it's pretty like nothing crazy. And then taking a look at the Hodler project with how many pranks he owns, just it's funny. Um, I don't think there's really anything wrong with either. I think Pranksy positioned himself well on that project, and we've seen him do it before. There is no issue with you buying up a large percentage if you really believe in the project. I do think though that like influencers are starting to get back to that like weird, like not being celebrated flipper position. I think there's a period like the last 3 weeks where they're like very celebrated, and people didn't care. I guess that sentiment has changed. Um, Another big thing I wanted to address on was that Richard put out this really good kind of like thread on protecting yourself. More and more people are getting hacked or clicking links or not having their assets stored in a secure way. So follow this thread. There's another one as well. Buy a ledger. Buy Tezos. Like buy. You need a hardware wallet, especially if you have stuff that's going to be cold storage long term. Put it on a hardware wallet. It's worth the $100 investment. And then follow. There's like different kind of like things that you need to practice for safety. So such as like links and websites you're going to. how you store your seed phrase. To do that, there's another thread here as well, from June 12th that is also very good. It goes through redundancy and testing. Um, but yeah, I think that's something that's a little overlooked. We spent a lot of time talking about like projects and what's happening in the space and technology, but like it all kind of comes back to this is very risky, where if you do not do these things correctly, you're at high risk of losing all of your assets either to a hack or losing them yourself. So that's certainly something worth putting some time into. Delphi Digital also has some good assets as well, but you do need to pay a $10 a month fee for those. Twin Flames announcing that they broke the $1 million in total resales mark. They have quite surpassed this over the last 24 hours, pushing well through that. I think they're all the way to like 1.3, maybe 1.4 at this point. It's crazy. Like, huge congrats to Justin. Happy to see him absolutely killing it. Again, he's like one of my favorite humans, not like favorite NFT or like photographer, like just favorite humans. Like, very cool dude, and just knows what he's doing. And I don't think there's anything that can really change his vision or his kind of like path he's on. Like, he's just set and he's gonna make it happen. So big congrats to him. Uh, just looking at the overall NFT market today, last 24 hours, definitely Bored Ape Yacht Club pulling back quite a bit. Um, and like we saw us hop over the 7 ETH floor, and then the floor price quickly just started kind of eroding away a little bit. I don't know if this is just because it rose too fast or what, but it did seem like some people got a little nervous and wanted to get out. We have seen a little bit of artificial suppression where it does seem like there are people that are buying and then they're kind of suppressing the floor so that they can get out early. Maybe a little bit of FUD out there as well. But I think this just goes back to that narrative. If you see something rise super, super fast, there better be a reason for it to stay up there when it gets up there. Most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, there isn't a reason for that huge run up, even on news for a project or a token, or any kind of asset to stay super, super high after like a multiple X run up. Bored Ape Yacht Club having almost a 2X in like a week, maybe less than that. I forget when we were at three. But that run up happening super, super quickly. And there really wasn't any announcement. I think it's more speculation on the mutations. But we'll see what happens with this floor price. I think we might bleed off a little bit more. But I don't see us getting too crazy as far as like where the bottom on that is. I think it's just another leg up, and we'll see another one as well on more announcements. Um, Again, just going through this, the other standout here was Curio Cards. Watching this absolutely explode over the last couple days. Um, Basically, I came across this and I wrote it off, and I feel stupid because I would have made a ton of money. And I'm sure you guys would have also gone in and made a ton of money as well. Curio Cards, basically early kind of project, and then people are just buying it for the historic value. Uh, Interesting, but on top of that, crypto hodlers definitely was part of the talk over the weekend. We had the pills, we had Chicken Derby, Goats, Decentraland, Pegs was a huge one, just because we saw this huge sale that drop on Friday and everybody was trying to purchase. So it makes sense for that. But I mean, wow, NFTs are thriving. Even if you see some red on here, like obviously it's fine for something on the 24 hours to be way down just because maybe they didn't have a drop or there were things released. Like obviously ghosts are going to drop things and then maybe 24 hours it looks like they're 100% down just because they aren't dropping as much or whatever. But there's a lot of money still flowing around this market. Things are still up on the 7 day for almost everything, and I do expect that to continue into this week as I think more people are just getting introduced to the space and getting in, seeing more and more high notable figures purchasing punks, apes, and art blocks. Apes floor sitting at just above 6. It's only what, like a dozen purchases to get back to 7, so not too worried about that. And then a couple more purchases from there to get to 8. So don't let that. I guess that's a big thing here. Like if there's any demand that comes into apes right now, you can very easily purchase like a floor ape, relist it at just under 8, and probably flip that pretty easily. Um, because there's only like 2 dozen, 3 dozen maybe to get to 8. Um, and I don't think that's unheard of to see a huge influx of buyers roll in. And then from 8, I think it will take some time to get to 10. It would take a huge push to get to 10. Um, but that like market depth analysis is not it's not too deep. Like it's probably like 50 purchases, and we will probably be pushing to 10. So not unheard of to see that. Definitely seeing some activity on the buy side that are pushing towards that 10 price point. So 8s, 9s rolling through. Cheetah Gang there. Not really seeing anything crazy as far as price. All of these really just being bought around the floor, and then there's 112, but all these 5 to 8, and the occasional 2 digit that's like 10 to 12. Not seeing high price action, so um, yeah, definitely the floor having the most liquidity. Seeing a little bit of a pullback on this, rise up, we'll pull back. I don't think we'll make it all the way back to that like 3 4, maybe settle right around like 6 ish right now, and chill out, and then we'll make that second leg up if more demand comes. The Kennel Club also showing pretty high demand, almost at a 2 ETH floor. Remember, you could have picked these up for like zero point 0.6 a week ago. So if you did, you were sitting pretty well right now, especially if you have floor stuff and you're just relisting it on the floor on the way up. Um, I do think we see these really rip if we see like utility for them. Um, but yeah, for now, I think if you don't have a floor, like it's gonna be hard to sell. People are just looking for the cheapest dog to get in. The chart doesn't lie. We're on that upswing. Seeing a DMT here. Obviously, fur being like the biggest aspect for the dog. So like I have a very rare dog. It looks great, but it has normal fur. So I don't expect that to really sell anytime. Fur just seems to be like the evaluating factor. I have seen a few people start to say and like speculate how the dogs will be utilized, and they've kind of said, "Don't worry about the fur. Going to do X, Y, and Z," and that they're kind of looking for the things that aren't the fur to purchase just because of how they think the dogs will be utilized. Um, it's just you can't really do anything besides speculate on the dogs right now. We don't know what's going to happen. Art blocks still ripping upwards, still high volume. I think that volume has died off a little bit. It was the weekend, but I think over the weekend people talk. They try to explain this to friends, or people will talk, and like I'm certainly going to look at one or two of the projects here that I think have been overlooked. So like aerial view, definitely one that's been hasn't seen the love yet. I think there's one called Algorithms, another one that I think hasn't seen as much love. I'll pull this up. Why not? So Algorithms having a floor of, let's see here if I can get this to work. So Algorithms having a floor currently on the buy now side of 1.2. Okay, so this is way up even over the weekend. Like a couple days ago, 2 days ago, looked at this one day ago, and it was zero point 0.8 floor. Um, and you can see like obviously these just got bought up. They're really cool though. They're animated and there's an audio perspective. I don't think that has gotten the appreciation that it ought to. So I can definitely see this appreciating over the next cycle of demand for art blocks. Um, Moving on from that, Cool Cats also having a huge narrative from last week with that Ghost collab that was announced. We still don't know the details, but Cool Cats and Ducks certainly being like these two kind of fan favorites from the community. The Cool Cats floor went from like 0.55 last week. You saw it run all the way up to zero point 0.9, pull back to the mid 0.6s, and now we're back to zero point 0.9. Slow, steady. I do see this pumping up. Like I can see this running through the ones, but the issue is if you look through listings, there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of cats listed at between like 0.99 and 1.1. There's just dozens. Um, so there's probably like 75 to 125 sales that have to happen for us to break through that kind of barrier. I don't know who owns all these cats, or if it's like just every single cat is owned by their own person. But if we do have like a whale who's sitting on like 50 cats, they're all listed at one, and he just delist all of them at once. What you could see happen is this floor just sneak up when you get to one, and then all of a sudden it's at like 1.5 because there's no supply anymore. It's a common trading tactic where you put up a sell wall. Everybody thinks, oh, it's going to stop there, and then you just drop it as demand is rising, and it just flies up. So we could see that happen with the cats. Just an idea and a thought. Looking at Ducks floor sitting at 2.3. Some serious like activity around these. I like this duck. It looks sick. I would totally buy this, but it's gone now since I loaded up that page. But yeah, I like the Ducks. The Ducks are cool. I think there's some good looking ones. I think there's some bad looking ones. Um, we'll certainly see how these play out long term. I get the same vibe as like the Cool Cats where the art is cool, it's just another animal, and like there's emotion to them. Like that's like the biggest thing, that a lot of these avatar projects show an emotion, it's like a personality. The ones that don't really express in like an emotion or a personality, like a cool factor, a vibe, a dorky factor, um, they won't do well. So I like these because they have that emotion and that expression. Um, so we'll see. I haven't bought one yet. I'm thinking about it. Definitely do your own research. It isn't cheap. Like it's 0.26. It's not free. Um, but I don't think it hurts to have one of these if you like the art and you're okay with it going to zero. Looking at the recent activity, seeing stuff all the way up to zero point 0.6, the rare stuff. A 1 ETH sale there, a 20 ETH sale on a SupDuck 24 minutes ago. So like there was another like I didn't get into this in the news. I try to stay away from some of like the drama stuff, but there's a lot of discussion about like wash trading and who is an insider, who's pumping this stuff. It's interesting. I think there's a lot of people that look at Etherscan, they do the detective work, and they can kind of prove that there are some things happening with certain projects. I don't know if it's happening with SupDucks. I haven't done my research on it as much, but it always blows me away when I see a huge ETH sale on a new project. I don't know if that makes me bullish or if it makes me go, like what's the validity of that? Is somebody just making a huge bet? Um, but it is cool to see like a huge sale like this happen. Um, Really funny. It's the dickhead hat. Uh, cool. That's a cool purchase. Very cool. But yeah, SupDucks, I think are going to see some more price activity. It definitely owned the narrative over the weekend. As I mentioned, curio cards also being like a huge, huge, huge spike. I think with this volume that we saw, this huge volume spike over here on what that was like on the 14th. Um, I think we might pull back a little bit. Again, this is another example of a huge run up, volume dying down, pricing dying down, more and more people listing things. I saw a lot of listings for people just listing at a loss. Like there was somebody who bought something for like 17 ETH and they were selling it for 15 or 16. Um, just a lot of that. So we'll see how this plays out, but my expectation is it had a huge run up. I'm not going to try to hop on the train right now because I don't see any reason for it to go higher. I could see this if it comes all the way back down to like these like dust prices of like 0.077, which I don't think is very likely. It could happen. Picking something up is just like a long term bet to see if that demand comes back for people who just want an early project. Flip it there. Um, the lady's still sitting at like a point 0.1 floor, but the price action still being pretty heavy on like key features. So like laser eyes, the hats, the halos, certain attributes like those still going for a premium and still having demand. I think this is a project that got a limelight at the beginning. It's died back a little bit, and it just needs that like spark to set it off again. And you see the floor rise 2 to 4x. Uh, but the question always is: are we going to see that spark? Who's accumulating bags? What influencers are about to mention it? Did they surprise us with something? So you never know. But I do like the project just because of the female only cast of avatars. So it's cool. I like the ladies. Meebits getting a little soft on Meebits on the market right now. Seeing the floor go from almost 2, pulling back to like point 0.1, 0.16 or 1.6, 1.5. Um, Most of the buying still at the floor, and then every once in a while, once every blue moon, we'll get a sale that's 5 to 10 for something, and then like very very rarely over the last 24 to 48 hours there will be like one sale in double digits. So right here to Von Mises for 32 on this pig. But yeah, Meebit's definitely chilling out a little bit, the floor being where most of the price action is. Another example, one of these charts where we had a lot of action. I think we're just chilling out a little bit. We might like I get the vibe right now we might have a little bit of a pullback, retraction, consolidation period, but it only lasts a couple days, maybe a week, and then we're right back to it. I think just things moved up really quickly, and there could be some correction. Crypto hodlers, obviously that project that was tweeted about by Pranksy holds 1,200 or 1,500, however many. But people definitely see Pranksy as like an influencer. If Pranksy's buying something, they are probably going to want to buy it just because of the apes. Um, and Pranksy knows that. Like Pranksy knows if there's a tweet about a project that people are going to want to buy, and like it's a very speculative market, a very gambling mentality for buyers. So we saw this like sell out instantaneously after the tweet, and then from there, really, it's just been kind of like floor chopping, rare stuff selling for a premium, and then nothing much from that. I think there's like 40% of them are males, 40% are females, and then there's a remaining like 10 to 15% that are um, robots, I think. But I'm not sure like what the project offers besides like kind of cool art, and the site was cool. Pranksy endorsed it. Probably ought to do some more research on this just because of that bet by Pranksy. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not buying any right now. I'll wait. I'm starting to get into more of a wait, watch what happens, analyze who is buying, why they're buying. I'll miss out maybe on that initial mint price, and I'll have to pay like a 3x of what the initial mint price was on something, or maybe even more, like a 10x. Like if it was at 0.02, and I have to pay zero point 0.2 for it, but I've eliminated like a ton of risk off the table, and I know there's an upside to it. Maybe I'll make that purchase. But it is kind of hard to bet on so many different projects popping up and not knowing where the risk is. I do think we see a lot of stuff go to zero. So I'm being smart with where I move my money if it's in a like 1 to 2 ETH, denomination. I'm not gonna ape in on a drop and put 2 ETH at risk where it could go to zero. But we are kind of just seeing everything going up off of mint almost. VFriends sitting just around a 4 ETH floor. Um, Seeing a lot of bots go out this weekend, a lot of lowball offers. Um, Seeing a dragon sell for 28. That's the only spec. And then this other bubblegum background for 15. So a lot of specs not really selling, just sitting around. The rest are, common cores or very rares selling around, a what that's like a 10 to 5 to 10x off of initial mint price. So this market is just interesting. I like to analyze it a lot because I think it shows what is happening from a very speculative position, where a lot of the people that are buying these are betting that they're going to go higher off of some announcement. I think if things get like soft in this market, you might see Gary make an announcement just to protect his holders, and then maybe bring some demand back to these. But we still haven't seen any announcement. I'm expecting on at some point there will be a conference announcement of maybe just even a performer, or events that are planned, and you see the prices for these pump, because at current USD prices, this is about $7,000 to get into the conference for 3 years, which isn't insane for like conference prices, especially what caliber they're kind of touting this will be. Um, but I do think you can see a buying opportunity at like, if the floor were to half, I would buy one just with the expectation to sell for a 2x possibly. So keep an eye on VFriends. Ghosts, I mean, this is a crazy chart. Like, look at this. The average price is 12 ETH. So they had three sales roll in, that one of them being for 30. The Genesis Ghost from 1999, going for 31 ETH. The rest of these Zodiacs and Lunars all selling for like 3 to 5. Take a look real quick at this ghost sale. Drawn by a 4-year-old. Wow. In February 1999. So Gang Yang, Genesis Ghost, February 1999. That's wild. Yeah. So 31 ETH sale on the Ghost project. Exciting stuff. Punk's comic. So I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to do an analysis video on this. The Punk's comic has pulled back from like a 1.2 floor to 0.9. And this is just because of the Meta Hero snapshot being done for the Mint Pass. What we're likely going to see now is this floor chill around here up until burn time, and that is when you see the floor probably pump again, as more people are making that financial decision and there's more announcements around what's happening. I am expecting Meta Hero to be an absolute blowout success. I think there's going to be a lot of effort put into the project, and I am expecting for Punk's comic to rise in value again, just as more announcements probably come out and people are able to better value their options between the staking and the burning. And I think you'll see the number of things that go for sale decrease dramatically. So you have less supply, and then demand is still probably going to ramp up heavily for the people who are FOMOing into the project, don't know about it. If you're not aware of what Punk's comic is, you need to go search on OpenSea, go to the website, understand the burn and stake mechanics. There are DeFi mechanics to this project. It's not just a comic book. And just understand that and then make that financial decision if you want to purchase it. I hold that. I'll disclose that. I try to disclose what I own. I try not to pump. It's just a project I believe heavily in, and I suggest people analyze themselves, do your own research, and then decide if you want to purchase. Gutter Cat Gang 1.3 floor, a few ones popping in for like 1.2, but otherwise, like the last 24 hours, the pricing has been like high ones to 2 Ethereum pricing. So Gutter Cats, if you were wondering where they're at, they're still alive, chopping along. People like the cats, and I don't see that project really going anywhere just because there are a lot of like very, very loyal holders to that project, plus the limited supply. And now what we're starting to see across the entire crypto market. And I'm sorry, guys, like this has been like a very like rambly video, I think so far. Um, but I'm just like thinking over kind of like what I see happening in the market, where you have a lot of these big kind of whales. Maybe they're not like whales. Maybe they're like baby whales, who are like, I have 200 ETH to deploy. Where do I sprinkle like 75% of that ETH, and then that last 25 ETH maybe, um, you know, what do I buy? What are like my kind of like just bets on like the entire market? And so they'll pick up like an ape, a gutter cat, a couple duck. Like they're just buying things to have them, hold them, vault them, and then in a few years or in 10 years, they can look back and be like, here is a historic kind of part of that 2021 like wild wild west NFT time, and this is a historic piece. I think there's a lot of people making that bet. You might not agree with me, but that is what I see happening. There's more and more people that are coming in purchasing like a twin flame, and they're like, this isn't going for sale, or they're purchasing a one of the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, and they're saying it's never going to be for sale for like 10 years from now. It's just what we're seeing across the board. There's more and more vaults popping up. Twin flames, as I just mentioned, the buying power for this is just continuing. I've realized that this project is probably about to really take off. The floor is like at 12, I think. There's like two or three sitting there, and then from there likely going to 20. Um, but if you look at who's purchasing here, like these are not stupid people. These are people that are building bags, purchasing just to hold, and like obviously some of these people are whales, where they're just betting on the future of this project going up. And it's easier to analyze with this project because there's only 100 tokens. Like there's only 100 photos. If you look at these other projects that are 10,000, it's hard to see within that activity, are there people purchasing like 10 ETH worth of that project making bets? My kind of analysis and understanding and what I've just kind of seen is it's happening with every project right now, where people are just building huge bags, betting on the project going up, and trying to reap that reward. Because if you can put 10 ETH into ducks and they 10x, that's not a bad return. Maybe 10 ETH for the ducks is a little bit much, but like if you get 3 ETH in at zero point 0.2 and they go to a 2 ETH floor at some point, it's a great return. Looking at CryptoPunks right now, the floor is still sitting just under 20. The floor being floor, like they're all floor punks. I don't see anything on the floor that I don't think should be there. I think there are maybe one or two just looking through. But to get to like real quality asset punks, you have to really, really, really scroll. You're probably going to be looking at high 30s to get something that's really interesting. The money has rolled in so far. Just more people purchasing the project, getting in, making the bets. As far as notable sales for punks, we did see a hoodie sale. So yeah, we saw a hoodie sale for 70 ETH. We saw a purple cap this morning go. It's super clean. Like that was a great purchase for 90 ETH. But yeah, the weekend was, I mean, a lot of buying over the weekend. Like probably that's probably 50. So like 1,000 ETH worth of sales over the weekend for CryptoPunks. The notable one, I almost missed it here, was maybe it was Friday or Saturday morning. This Beanie Punk going for sale for 205 ETH. So yeah, NFTs are not dead. We might have a little bit of a pullback just because things shot up super fast. I'm not scared. I don't think we'll see like a crash, Where maybe I am scared, and again, this comes back to understand the crypto market as one and the NFT market as another, and how those two kind of balance off each other. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Binance Coin, Cardano, like there's red. The crypto market is red this morning. Things are certainly getting slapped. Um, Ethereum is down almost 5% over the last 24 hours. Over the last 7 days, almost 14%. The entire market being down almost 5% altogether. Um, there is no real like support where I see Ethereum like bottoming out at right now. Nor do I see it like having like a rip up. It just seems like there's going to be a slow bleed. Um, so like make sure you're not leveraged right now, because if I'm leveraged long, I would. It's a risky bet, um, just because we don't know what the market's going to do. I think Ethereum is gonna likely just be bought up the lower it goes, but manipulation has just been like the longest, oldest tail of the crypto market. I think with missing 1559 and POS stuff kind of being uh, fudded right now, and not understanding like is Ethereum gonna what's gonna happen with Ethereum. Like I think we're just at a point right now where if you like Ethereum, you're okay holding it, hold it, and if you like want to buy more as the price goes down. But as far as NFTs go, it's going to be interesting to see, do we see the people like paper hand, like are the people selling apes way lower than floor just trying to get out because they're scared Ethereum's going to go down and they don't want to lose money, and they were trying to get in for a short-term flip. I think that there's a lot of that there, so you see that pullback as crypto pulls back. But at some point there's going to be like this stable period where NFTs are just able to rip, because that's where the price action, the price movement is. So yeah, that was like a rambly, really weird Monday morning show. Hopefully tomorrow's a little bit more coherent and like my thoughts aren't all over the place. I am excited to see what happens this week. If there are pullbacks, it could be buying opportunities for some people. Um, but yeah, I think we're just going to see more projects come out, more emphasis on utility. What is the differentiating factor? I think the days of just being able to throw a project out there and it be crap, get bought up, are slowly going away. Because especially for myself and the people I talk to, these like rug.wtf kind of projects that are just like, hey, you buy our token and we don't send you anything, um, are just kind of dying off, where money, like people are wising up, money's becoming smarter. So we'll see how that plays out. With that said, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. I will catch you guys tomorrow, and as always, have a good one, stay positive, share some love, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning.